The FBI revealed today that 33 people have now been charged, 30 taken into custody, all of it following a very visible raid just before 11 a.m. today.
On October 12, 2025, at 3:50 in the morning local time, a deep rumble echoed through the pre-dawn haze. It was a convoy of blacked-out SUVs roaring down Weymouth Street. Engines growled, radios crackled with urgent whispers, and then, in a single, perfectly synchronized moment, the DEA, FBI, and Homeland Security teams launched their assault. A flash charge detonated, unleashing a blinding white light that pierced through the weathered facades of century-old brick houses. Shutters were ripped from their hinges, doors shattered open, and agents stormed in their shouts of command, cutting through the thunderous sounds of heavy boots and breaching ramps. In less than 60 seconds, the once tranquil street transformed into an active war zone. The air grew thick with the acrid smell of gunmetal smoke. Deep within a basement, the steady hum of pill press machines persisted a mechanical heartbeat until abruptly it fell silent. The clandestine operators, often referred to as the Ghosts of Kensington, were forcibly removed handcuffed and made to face the ground. They were apprehended under the very light they once manipulated to clandestinely produce lethal drugs ounce by deadly ounce. However, this was no mere victory. It was a profound revelation. What federal agents discovered inside transcended the expected fentanyl operation. It brought to light a sinister truth, a system meticulously designed to profit from societal breakdown, targeting communities, devastating families, and destroying lives one by one. Across our urban landscapes, from the sprawling expanse of Los Angeles to the bustling streets of Philadelphia, New York, and countless other cities, communities are being relentlessly tormented by entrenched street gangs, brutal gang violence, and vast drug trafficking organizations. Kensington may be just one urban center, but the deadly scourge of fentanyl knows no boundaries. Therefore, a critical question emerges. How secure is your Times City from this threat? Share the name of your city in the comments below. They brought the drugs here, and now they want us gone. These internal demons, they just never rest. Nestled in the very heart of Philadelphia is a neighborhood that was once cherished for its hardworking families and peaceful avenues. Yet today, it has tragically transformed into the most perilous open-air drug market across the entirety of America. For countless residents' existence, here is an unrelenting daily struggle against the grip of fentanyl. Along Weymouth Street, individuals shuffle with agonizing slowness. Many are barely conscious, propped precariously against unforgiving brick walls, while others lie utterly collapsed on the grimy sidewalks. Young children are forced to navigate carefully, stepping over discarded used syringes on their daily journey to school. Meanwhile, local residents meticulously keep their doors bolted shut even during the brightest hours of the day. This area has undeniably become fentanyl territory. Fentanyl is an extraordinarily potent opioid, estimated to be at least 50 times stronger than heroin. Tragically, individuals are unknowingly exposed to fentanyl, often believing they are taking another substance. Its extreme potency leads to a devastating consequence: people are perishing at truly unprecedented rates. Across the United States, fentanyl has insidiously permeated numerous facets of our nation's drug supply, contaminating various substances, notably heroin. Over a mere 12-month period, emergency medical services documented 27 reported overdoses within these very same city blocks. Violent robberies saw a sharp surge. Heartbroken grandparents discovered their grandchildren tragically pale on cold bathroom floors. Parents were forced to endure the agonizing pain of burying their sons before they even reached the age of 25. Each individual loss left an unfillable void, a wound that simply refused to heal completely. There is absolutely no justification for allowing this level of devastating chaos to engulf our communities, needlessly jeopardizing lives and placing countless individuals directly in harm's path. Indeed, every single loss carved out a profound void, a wound that consistently failed to fully mend. Kensington remained under the firm grasp of a sophisticated drug network, one that not only imported and manufactured but also distributed fentanyl on an alarming industrial scale. Every street was under constant surveillance, every corner aggressively claimed. Money and deadly poison flowed ceaselessly, hour by hour, day by day, year after relentless year. The pressing question evolved beyond merely, is this dangerous? The true query became how extensively has this crisis metastasized beyond Kensington's borders? Who were the architects of this devastation, and where exactly do the authorities stand? For a grueling 6 months, undercover agents meticulously tracked shipping containers rather than engaging with typical street-level dealers. This was far from simple street commerce. It encompassed large-scale importation complex production and wide-reaching distribution. All of this unfolded largely unnoticed within a neighborhood that remained entirely unaware of the scale of the operation engulfing it. From the bustling border of Mexico, through the heart of Texas, and all the way to Philadelphia, 37 seemingly ordinary, unmarked containers moved across America's vast highway system. Yet concealed within their unassuming exteriors was pure fentanyl, a quantity so immense it could obliterate families' entire city blocks and whole communities. In clandestine basements throughout Kensington, ruthless gang members meticulously combined fentanyl with other substances, then pressed it into thousands upon thousands of counterfeit blue oxycodone pills. Each seemingly innocuous pill possessed enough potency to claim a human life. Couriers ferried these deadly poisons through dimly lit alleys and sprawling parking lots. Meanwhile, federal investigators successfully tracked 112 significant cash transfers, linking them to a web of sophisticated counterfeit companies, all ultimately orchestrated and controlled by a single enigmatic figure known only as L. Doctor. L. Doctor's criminal enterprise operated as an intricate cross-state trafficking network, its insidious activities directly connected to abductions, instances of forced labor, and a grim tally of fentanyl-related fatalities, stretching from Texas all the way to Pennsylvania. Just 2 months prior, one of his maritime vessels engaged in a violent confrontation with the U.S. Coast Guard during a harrowing midnight raid, resulting in the tragic death of a federal officer. That precise moment irrevocably altered the landscape. This ceased to be mere drug trafficking. It had escalated into an undeniable act of organized warfare. This was a ruthless network fully prepared to take American lives solely to safeguard its illicit gains. Now, with every single illicit container meticulously tracked and every deceptive shell company thoroughly exposed, only one decisive course of action remained. Operation Liberty Line was on the verge of commencing. If you have ever witnessed the devastating toll addiction takes on a family, I urge you to stay with me because the next revelations will resonate deeply, perhaps hitting very close to home. Before we delve further, make sure to tap that subscribe button so you'll be notified and never miss another crucial chapter of this evolving story. By 3:50 in the morning, Kensington fell into a profound silence. Not a peaceful quiet, but a calculated, controlled stillness. High above surveillance, drones meticulously mapped heat signatures across the district. Below, within heavily armored command trucks, federal and city agencies, including the Philadelphia Police Department, the FBI, the DEA, Homeland Security, and U.S. Marshals, were locked into their pre-assigned positions. Months of painstaking, discreet surveillance had culminated into one singular, unyielding strike. This was not an outburst of chaos. It was a meticulously orchestrated act of enforcement. At precisely 3:50, the entire city collectively held its breath. From inside Mobile Command, Van's officers intently monitored thermal maps as they vividly illuminated. Unseen drones remained suspended overhead, translating infrared data into distinct heat signatures displayed across their laptop screens. From their aerial vantage point, the emerging pattern was unmistakably clear: basements exhibiting peculiar activity clusters of vehicles congregating in alleyways, and a group of industrial structures that bore little resemblance to actual warehouses. The initial assault teams swiftly moved into action. Heavily armored vehicles silently navigated into dark alleys, their lights deliberately extinguished, engines purring at a barely audible hum. Outside a specific row home, a formidable containment ring snapped shut like reinforced steel. Concurrently, a perimeter team meticulously sealed off all exits within a 2-block radius, ensuring no escape. Within specialized breach, teams braced themselves. The very air hanging over Weymouth Street was thick with the palpable sensation of urgency. And then it commenced 9 simultaneous entries. Flashbang grenades detonated with deafening roars, violently ripping open the night sky with brilliant white light and explosive thunder. Officers bellowed concise, precise, and well-rehearsed commands. Their boots slammed against dilapidated floors, creating a jarring rhythm. Hallways rapidly filled with dense smoke, every movement executed with unwavering purpose. In a specific basement, agents encountered a figure clad in tactical gear, moving with the seamless precision of a highly trained unit. They methodically cleared rooms, quickly apprehended suspects, and safely secured any civilians present. Within another basement, agents discovered an active laboratory bustling with operational presses. These machines churned out countless pills, transforming deadly poison into deceptively innocent-looking medicine. Bright blue tablets cascaded into waiting trays, while boxes deceptively labeled supplies, cleverly concealed packets sealed in vacuum-tight plastic. At yet another location, a stack of encrypted mobile handsets emitted an ominous glow, indicating a barrage of unread messages. Intricate ledgers, both physical and digital on hard drives, meticulously detailed the illicit supply chain mapping routes from port to warehouse to street corner. Every piece of evidence was collected with aggressive precision, immediately cataloged, photographed, scanned, and securely bagged for processing. There were fleeting moments that were both dramatically cinematic and profoundly brutal in equal measure. A desperate suspect lunged for a concealed door. A brief, violent struggle erupted near a stairwell. Officers swiftly pulled a terrified child from the darkness into the safety of the light, and an elderly neighbor was gently yet firmly guided out of her kitchen, undoubtedly shaken but mercifully alive. During one methodical sweep, a unit discovered a terrified teenager huddled and curled beneath a worn mattress. Swiftly, another team gently ushered her into the comforting embrace of warm blankets and the reassuring care of waiting paramedics. As the first rays of dawn broke, the grim tally was indisputable. Dozens of suspects were meticulously cuffed and processed. Massive quantities of seized contraband were carefully loaded into evidence vans, including hundreds of thousands of lethal doses of fentanyl, thousands of illicit counterfeit pills, and the specialized presses used to manufacture them. Additionally, a substantial, nearly seven-figure haul of cash and extensive digital records meticulously outlining the network's vast reach were also secured. The individuals who had orchestrated these deadly operations were led away, their faces illuminated by the harsh glow of bright street lamps, their criminal enterprises now unequivocally exposed. Kensington streets bore the fresh scars of that night-shattered glass upturned chairs and official evidence tape marking the scene. Crucially, the most significant blow was dealt to the very core of the drug network itself. Its illicit distribution points were thoroughly dismantled, its intricate supply chain severely disrupted, and its key leaders placed firmly in custody. For the residents who had endured years living under a cloud of pervasive fear, the dramatic raid delivered a harsh yet profoundly immediate sense of relief. Operation Liberty Line transcended a singular triumph. It was a resounding statement. It declared that when organized criminal enterprises inflict profound harm upon communities, federal power possesses both the capability and the unwavering resolve to act swiftly, decisively, and with sufficient force to fundamentally alter the landscape of a neighborhood. Consider this. If your own neighborhood faced such a devastating crisis, would you advocate for an intervention of this magnitude? Respond in the comments with "I would" if you believe law enforcement should take such decisive action. However, these arrests marked not an end, but the disquieting beginning of something far more profound. In the intense hours immediately following the raid, federal analysts meticulously began sifting through the confiscated phones, hard drives, and intricate financial ledgers. Patterns emerged with astonishing speed, too quickly in fact. Encrypted messages contained a recurring phrase that seemed utterly out of place on the streets: "Blue line cleared," "Blue line holds," "Blue line compromised," "Move storage." While to the general public these terms would have been utterly meaningless to seasoned federal investigators, blue line was a critical tactical timing term, a coded reference utilized within highly protected surveillance planning systems. Such a term should exist exclusively within secure, classified environments. Its very presence unequivocally pointed to a single alarming conclusion: the network possessed an inside source within the system. This mole operated somewhere within the intricate layers of local law enforcement, government contractors, municipal access points, or federal support services. Someone was actively furnishing protection, not based on mere street-level gossip or rumors, but on precise operational intelligence. Someone was notifying them precisely when surveillance assets were inactive, when patrol routes were altered, when to safely transport their illicit products, and when to discreetly vanish. This was no longer simply drug trafficking. This was a chilling act of deep infiltration. Over the subsequent 72 hours, investigators relentlessly pursued a complex web of digital fingerprints, routing numbers, detailed Wi-Fi handshake logs, distinctive VPN signatures, and records of card swipes into restricted government areas. The intricate trail led not to low-level dealers, but to the hallowed halls of offices, clean desks, and secure building identification badges. 5 key individuals were identified and apprehended: sophisticated logistics brokers, high-level financial facilitators, and specialized IT personnel, all intricately linked to the deceptive shell companies. These individuals never physically handled fentanyl. They didn't need to. Their role was to safeguard the operation. In a synchronized operation, their substantial assets were seized within the same hour. Homes were frozen, bank accounts instantly locked, and vehicles impounded. They offered no resistance, fully comprehending that the weight of the evidence against them far outweighed any legal defense. Yet, even as federal agents were deep in the hunt for the internal leak, a remarkable transformation occurred on the streets of Kensington. Drug corners fell eerily silent. Dealers seemingly vanished almost overnight. For the first time in many years, Kensington itself seemed to collectively draw a breath. Residents emerged to sweep their sidewalks. Parents confidently walked their children directly to school, no longer forced to cross the street to bypass collapsed bodies. Local clinics reported admitting 14 overdose survivors who, had the raid been delayed by merely 1 week, would undoubtedly not have survived. However, this newfound silence was not a definitive victory. It was merely an intermission, for the vast criminal network, though severely wounded, had not been utterly destroyed. Some illicit shipments managed to get through. A number of key operators regrettably escaped. The battlefield had subtly shifted from gritty street corners to hidden servers, from illicit wire transfers to secure encrypted channels, and from physical locations to back-office access badges. Operation Liberty Line had undeniably cracked open the surface, revealing a deeper threat. When the sun finally rose over Kensington, it illuminated a neighborhood irrevocably altered from the one that had settled into uneasy sleep the previous night. The streets still bore the fresh scars of the struggle. Brick walls were etched with fading warnings, metal shutters were visibly dented where battering rams had forced entry. Sidewalks remained littered with the silent remnants of a long, tumultuous night: torn latex gloves, shattered drug vials, and police tape fluttering like weary pennants. Yet for the first time in many years, the very air itself did not carry the stench of fear. Instead, it smelled like a crisp, cold morning, like fresh rain on concrete, like the invigorating scent of possibility. The notorious drug corners that had once brazenly operated in broad daylight now lay eerily desolate. The stoops where men once slumped motionless with needles still protruding from their arms were starkly bare. Weymouth Street, once a harrowing marketplace of addiction, awoke to an unprecedented quiet devoid of customers waiting for their morning fix, for their first death of the day. Parents now guided their children along the sidewalks in confident straight lines, no longer forced to dart across the street to avoid inert bodies. Store owners confidently unbolted their doors, not with customary hesitation, but with a palpable sense of relief, a collective long exhale. And neighbors who for years had resided alongside each other in silence now tentatively met one another's gaze. A simple nod, a hesitant wave, small yet immensely powerful gestures. It was the silent affirmation of survivors, acknowledging their continued presence. This was not yet peace. It was merely the genesis. The most enduring image for many would not be the arrests themselves, the cold handcuffs, or the meticulously arranged evidence tables. Instead, it was the profound sight of federal outreach teams descending upon the neighborhood the following morning. A compassionate assembly of nurses, medics, crisis counselors, and addiction specialists traversed door to door, alley to alley, engaging in conversation with the living rather than simply responding to the fallen. The 14 overdose survivors rescued from the raid were transitioned into vital stabilization programs. Some were visibly trembling, others remained eerily silent, and a few wept openly, yet crucially they walked in alive. And in that moment, that fact resonated miles away with immense significance. Miles away, within the stark confines of a federal command building, prosecutors diligently prepared the initial wave of legal charges. 47 individuals were formally booked, and an additional 12 were immediately indicted on charges related to trafficking and organized distribution. 5 high-level financial operatives found themselves stripped of their homes, vehicles, bank accounts, indeed everything they had illicitly amassed through death and despair. Yet not a single person in that command room celebrated. For every individual, there grasped a profound truth that most never truly confront. A police raid concludes in a single night, but true recovery spans entire seasons, and a war of this nature demands generations. Kensington, though liberated, remains vulnerable. There will undoubtedly be earnest attempts to restore what was ravaged. There will be countless families still agonizingly awaiting the return of loved ones who may never come home. There will be dark nights when the chilling tendrils of fear seek to re-establish their grip. But one truth fundamentally changed the neighborhood, awakened to the realization that it has not been forgotten or abandoned. And America unequivocally conveyed that it will not concede its streets. Operation Liberty Line was far more than a mere takedown. It was a powerful message articulated through decisive action, not hollow rhetoric. This sacred ground unequivocally belongs to the resilient people who call it home, not to the insidious grip of fentanyl, not to the paralyzing shadow of fear, and certainly not to those predatory individuals who shamelessly profit from human suffering. As long as there are communities brave enough to rise and stand firm, there will always be fellow Americans prepared to stand shoulder to shoulder with them. And understand this, what you have witnessed was merely the overture. As a new dawn broke over Kensington, it revealed streets that were quiet, still scarred, yet undeniably free. The shattered glass, the lingering evidence tape, the battered, torn walls. These were not merely remnants, but potent reminders of the sheer will it took to reclaim this territory. For the first time in an untold number of years, residents could traverse their streets unburdened by fear. Operation Liberty Line was far more than a simple takedown. It was irrefutable proof that profound order can indeed emerge from the depths of chaos, and that a city once seemingly forsaken can still fiercely contend for its own future. Yet for every block painstakingly rebuilt, another sadly continues to languish. For every precious life salvaged, another remains tragically entangled in the pervasive darkness. This narrative extends far beyond the mere subject of illicit drugs. It is a stark examination of the profound cost of collective indifference and the immense courage required to simply care again. The protracted war against fentanyl will not conclude in a single night. However, true change begins the moment we collectively refuse to avert our gaze. So if this powerful story resonated with you, please consider sharing it widely. If you steadfastly believe that America possesses the fortitude to stand resilient against the toxic blight that threatens to tear it asunder, then let your voice rise and be heard. Share your reflections in the comments section below, and for more compelling narratives that illuminate the relentless battle for our streets, our families, and the very fabric of our future, subscribe to our channel, because this isn't solely Kensington's story. It is in every profound sense our shared struggle.